Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank Jeff for coming and sharing those thoughts with us and giving us a feel for how things are going with TVA. I do have just one thought, or I'd ask you to comment on it briefly if you could. We've been asked about TVA's commitment to what commitment they have with regards to water within the Memphis area. I know that's been a subject of some interest for a while. Do you have any comments or thoughts around what your thoughts are about with regards to the aquifer and just that whole issue around the water?
Yeah, JT. Thanks for asking it. And I did read Wade Archer's op-ed piece in the Commercial Appeal. I'm a little disappointed. I think we've been pretty clear about this. So at Allen, we're just a quick update here. We said all along we're committed. We made the decision to remove that ash and dispose of it at a licensed separate landfill. That project is already underway. We've identified where it's going. We're designing and building the landfill. We have dewatered the ash basins, so dried them out. That's ongoing, but we've made substantial progress. And frankly, we're getting ready to undertake that removal in the very near future. We'll begin moving ash out of there this year. That it relates to the groundwater contamination issue we have. There's some local contamination, arsenic, above the limits that we want to see in some confined areas out there. We're not entirely sure what the cause of this was. It's unusual. I'm not entirely sure it's the coal ash as the prime driver, but it doesn't matter. We're going to take care of that. We monitor through 70 wells at various levels that contamination, and it is not migrating. As a matter of fact, once we dewatered the ash pond and removed any driving force, we've seen those levels already begin to decline. The other point I'd make is that while normally you'll see a natural attenuation like that, we've already committed that those levels are high enough that we're going to deploy active mitigation. We're going to remove that arsenic. And we piloted the systems and tested them. They're in design, and we'll deploy them so we can recover that material and eliminate it from the ground. This all relates to because why would you be concerned about the wells? Well, this would be why. But we don't see any indication. This is all in the alluvial aquifer, which is the very top. Well below that, on the other side of the clay barrier, is the Memphis Sands aquifer. We see no contamination. We see no migration toward that, no significant migration toward that aquifer. When Allen was designed, there was a thought up front that we might be able to use gray water for it. The engineering didn't work out for that. It just wasn't suitable. You weren't going to be able to build the unit there and maintain it reliably. So TVA went about putting wells into the aquifer in order to provide makeup water to that plant. This is not unusual. There's lots of folks who tap the aquifer for industrial purposes. TVA was going to do that. But with the public concerns, with the ongoing ash project, with that arsenic issue, we made a commitment not to use those wells as the makeup water source to the plant. We contract with MLGW for water supply, and that's what we intend to do. I don't see us reversing that nor changing it. As a matter of fact, JT and I and his team have been coordinating over the last 24 hours on curtailing that makeup water supply and using our impounded storage to keep Allen running while you work your way through water issues. And so, JT,
we appreciate your help on that.
Yep, not a problem. We worked well together on that, I think. So, you can be confident that we're gonna our makeup water is coming from MLGW. We don't intend to use those wells as our makeup source. We're going to maintain them because that's what you do with a well. You don't walk away from it. So it's already there. It exists. We're not going to undo it. So we're going to maintain it. We're going to remove the ash. We're going to mitigate the arsenic. and we're going to monitor all this carefully to make sure that there is never any risk to the Memphis Sands aquifer. We know how important it is
Right.
To you all, and it's important to us.
So I appreciate that. And I will just pass along in conjunction with what you've heard from some of the other, I've gotten some comments over the last few days appreciating the stability of the system, the power system through this time. And just know that there are comments from folks that definitely appreciate that. But that's all I've got, Mr. Chair.
Let me, I want to go back to the new Allen State plant. So we're supplying you with that water. Have you all done any more homework to see if there are alternatives to that? I know you mentioned the original plan was to use wastewater, gray water. Are there any other alternatives besides using what every citizen considers our most valuable asset is our aquifer water? Are there any alternatives you guys have explored or would explore in the future?
Mitch, we always keep our eye on technology, and if there is technology, cost-effective technology that can get us to the point where other water sources are viable, we would consider investing in them. And so the answer is yes, but I don't see any right now that are practical. And so what we try to do is make that plant as efficient as possible, minimize its water consumption. It has a closed loop cooling systems in it. So all we're really doing is making up whatever is evaporating. And so we'll minimize it. We'll work with MLGW as we're doing right now. We'll keep our eye on technology. And if there's a viable solution, we'll consider it in the future.
Is the Mississippi River a viable water for the Mississippi viable?
Yeah, Steve, it certainly is, but that plant is sort of landlocked a bit. The water quality where we are there is poor. Poor is the wrong word. Lots of suspended solids, lots of material in the water that creates significant issues for the kind of equipment we put there. So in order to use that, we would have to build a pretty significant intake structure, water treatment plant in order to be able to utilize it. Would take up valuable port space, it would add significant cost, and it would reduce the reliability. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, but, right? And so that's kind of where we are.